Yeah, you wanna put that dish in your mouth.
Wish you could slide into my mind and make me mine. Push play rewind. Let's whip outside, and so am I.
Hi everyone, I'm Dylan B. Dickerson White, Mr. Trans USA 2022, and we're here today to do our interview with Mr. Trans Missouri. This one's coming a little bit later on, so some of the questions we have are going to be more about how he's been doing since he's officially been recognized as Mr. Trans Missouri. So we're going to get into some of those issues, and since we just celebrated Trans Day of Visibility, we're going to kind of talk about some issues related to visibility in the community and how he's been doing that as well. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome into the stream Beck Brown, Mr. Trans Missouri 2023, to tell us a little bit about himself and to just dive right into the conversation. Hey, Beck. So, like I said, we're here to learn a little bit more about you. So, can you kind of, for people who haven't maybe read your bio or anything yet, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and why you decided to be Mr. Trans Missouri this year?
I'm 25. I'm originally from Indiana, so I moved here a couple years ago. I help out with this local group that helps a lot of kids just be like a safe place for them to go and just be themselves. And I didn't have that growing up in Indiana, and I thought that was a really cool and unique thing to have, just especially in what we're going through right now. Um, and I want to be a part of something like that and just like the community in the United States. And so I thought that would be no better than to represent our state and do it nationally. So
Yeah, no, that's kind of like it's funny because I always know the answers to these because we talk about these things before, but it's just getting everybody else to like understand where everyone's coming from. And with Missouri too, that's one of the things that I think people are kind of interested in, since we kind of chatted a few times before this, but now we're a few months later, 6 months maybe now, and things are a lot different. So can you tell folks kind of what's going on in Missouri right now for trans folks?
it's hard. I try not to follow politics, honestly, because I don't like politics. I I know a lot of people voted today, I believe it was. Um, so I don't know the politics side of everything of what was been voted on. I know for a couple of other states from what I've heard, honestly. But I just hope everyone stays safe. So
No, and that's like a really valid point too, that when we get into things in terms of advocacy, it's not always about politics. It's not always about what's going on in legislative capacities. Those are super important, and people are really, working in those ends. But there are other ways we can do that, and there are other ways we can represent as a community. So, on the flip side of that, you said you were working with a group with trans kids in safe spaces, and that's really a big thing that you've focused on is trying to focus on the youth. So we've heard a lot about this phrase right now, and we all keep saying like protect trans kids.
yeah.
What do you think the biggest message you have out there for parents of trans kids to protect them is right now?
To make sure that they know that they're loved and that they can be whoever what they want to be, even if the world says that they can't, that they can. Um, don't let the world dictate who you can and cannot be, because in the end of the day, the world doesn't sleep with you. You sleep with yourself. Uh, you live with yourself. And behind closed doors, that's who you're going to be, is yourself. So if they are loved, make sure they're loved. And that's all that matters in the end, is the love.
Yeah, and I think that's a really short, sweet, simple thing to say, and it's sometimes it's the simplest things that parents need to hear right now.
Yeah.
And and again, stemming kind of from that, we talked about this a little bit before. Um, Loving them, and it kind of leads into this question. We talk about the phrase trans excellence and why we're doing the things to show families how to protect trans kids, to tell them these messages. So if I say that phrase, trans excellence, what does that mean to you personally?
I think it means like making sure that that we are putting our best foot forward in all aspects. Making sure that we show that we're not the big scary people on social media, but that we're also like the loving people that we can be personally. Like we're humans, and we're excellent in everything, and that we're just as nice as a regular cis person. In other words.
No, like they kind of hit a really good point there. It's just like it's the idea that even for us, it's just being, it's existing, it's being normal people, it's living our everyday lives. And it's kind of funny you mentioned that because like when we were at National, we're all get together with, and when a bunch of trans people get together in a group, people think you're always talking about those issues. No, we're just kind of talking about whatever we watched on TV or like video games we play. Sometimes I know we talked to so many people about Fortnite, and it's not even funny. But on the human side of it, like getting on a little bit of the lighter side, like okay, yeah, we are real people. So I've kind of asked this question a few times. So we're talking about pet peeves in a lot of these groups, like the things that kind of just irritate you, not even things that are like super serious or political or anything. And so I always gave that example of I hate the sound of clipping toenails. I hate the sound of ripping paper. And there's lots of sounds that I'm just like so annoyed by I'll have to leave the room. So do you have any that's for you like that?
Currently, and it's probably really weird, but when my dog just decides to give herself a bath in the middle of the night, she'll decide just to give herself a bath. And it's like you could do it any other time of the day when I'm at work or whatever. It just has to be in the middle of the night.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. It's just it'll be the quiet. You'll finally
Yep.
fall asleep. You know,
Just then, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna lick myself." It's like, why?
and it's that repetitive noise too that kind
Yes.
of, oh my god, it gets you.
And it's like right here because she sleeps right here. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I had to go lock them out of here myself because I knew they'd find something to bark at or be annoyed while I'm recording because that's the only time they ever do. So yeah, kind of on that note, there's another question I asked, and it's about like pets. But we had talked about we have dogs, and a lot of people have cats and stuff. So
Mhm.
I've been asking people if they would have any like exotic pet or like strange animal in their house they could keep. What that would be? Like, do you have any ideas about that?
Exotic animal that I would keep.
If you had enough space and anything, any animal you wanted.
Um, a koala bear.
I would absolutely love that. Actually,
They
just like
give me hugs all the time.
right. No matter you don't have to like search out for another person because sometimes I get along better with animals than humans. So
Exactly.
just like the nice big hug.
I would say an otter, but I've heard they're very mean.
I think they get nippy.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I heard they're like, yeah,
but it's like they're so adorable. It's always the cutest things too that are like that can be
the
the most
meanest.
like a chihuahua.
They're not cute, but yeah.
You a big dog person?
I have a boxer German Shepherd.
There you go. That's because a lot of times people like who have big dogs and love big dogs do not like the small dogs. They're just like,
They're
oh,
just loud and annoying.
see, I like small dogs because if they annoy me, I can just move them.
True, but
No, we can go on. It's like a thing that apparently a small dog versus big dog thing, and we could all go on about this.
yeah, probably.
Um, I think that we can kind of go back around, circle around to everything. So in terms of the pageant itself, I think we all, since this is kind of a relatively new thing for you, is there any particular category that's a little that you're more scared about than others, more nervous about?
Probably the swimsuit one, yeah. The confidence
You know,
level's not gonna be there.
it's funny you say that because I thought the same thing. I was just like, oh my god, I don't feel like ready to do this. Like even no matter what my body, like I just don't feel okay. And then when I got there, everybody had the exact same thought in their head. All the guys were all terrified, and then we just ended up kind of laughing about it and being out there together. So I would say like the one that ends up like you think you're most scared about like that is not going to be as scary. Everyone's cheering for you, and it's going to be like kind of fun in that respect. But on the flip side, is there anyone you're like really excited about?
I'm excited about the costume one, but then again, I'm worried about the costume one.
That is the one that's like got so it's so open to interpretation. Like,
Exactly.
um, no, and that's something we all talk about our ideas, and we'll be posting stuff in the group. But again, I just kind of wanted to get an idea, and maybe people will be watching this and kind of say, "Hey, I have an idea for Missouri," and
Yeah.
reach out to you. Um, so on that kind of note, when you is there anybody you've seen too? I have not even asked any of this question before. Is like there anybody you've seen kind of join the ranks that of our group this year or excited to
Like
meet?
that I know, or that like I follow on like social media.
Either way, is there anybody you're like excited to meet? Whether it
Oh, I'm excited to meet Mr. Wisconsin.
Trevor,
Yes.
yeah,
Uh, yeah. I've been following him on different social medias for a while. Um, he seems like a really cool guy.
oh,
Uh,
he was one of the ones that he and I had a lot of fun. Actually, right before swimsuit, we were all just laughing, and I think he said something just to let you know was about I'm your biggest fan, and there happened to be a giant old fan in the background. I'm like, no, that is just sitting, just perfectly placed next to me, and then it made us laugh enough to enjoy that category even more.
That's good. Yeah.
But I think that that and the parties by the pool and then the
Right.
drink, everybody's gonna have a great time with it. But well, getting back into maybe like a little bit more of a serious kind of side of things for a second. We just celebrated Trans Day of Visibility, and I know we've all been kind of doing different things throughout and planning for different things. But really, when we say of the Day of Visibility, people kind of have different meanings for what they want themselves visibility to mean. What does that mean for you going forward, especially with everything going on, to be visible right now?
To me, it's more like that we're still here, like we're still alive. That like in all honesty, like that I haven't committed suicide or anything. Like I'm still alive. And, I grew up in a really small conservative town, and I did not have and still don't really have the most what's the word um supportive parents. I have a supportive best friend. I have supportive kids, but when it comes to my biological family, I don't have a support system. So, being around, being visible, that's what that really means. Like people like us, that we're still around, we're still fighting literally for our lives, and that we still matter.
Yeah, and I think that taking that and just going with that support system you do have, especially, and I said this before, choosing to run right now with everything going on and to stay with it, that says a lot about your character. That says a lot about what you believe in, and I think that um, if I ask, given everything that's going on, what would you say right now to get more support for the community from people outside?
Just to treat us like normal, like we're not. There's nothing wrong with us. Or just treat us like we're normal. Don't treat us like we're some kind of abomination or that there's something wrong with us. Because there's like these Facebook posts that are going around saying, I rather put my kids in a room full of like drag queens and transgenders versus a room full of like white cis men and be okay with it because I know that they would be protected and they would be well taken care of. Which I mean, yeah, that might sound really wrong to say in a general aspect, but I want my kids to be safe. And I'm gonna weigh the odds.
Right, and I think that it's a kind of an interesting topic, like you said, just about what it means, to be a parent and a protector. And us older, like me, I'm a little bit older, older folks in the community, we really, because so many of us had that same story where we may not have supportive parents, we may not have. We really try to be that for everyone else, the younger people in our community. So
Yeah.
that idea of chosen family is something that the trans community definitely we have. We believe in that a little bit more than some most folks.
Right.
um, so that's another kind of question I wanted to lead into about family. And so with Trans USA, there's this idea that we are a family, and you've seen us all going through, our different things, and we're all there to support each other. So how do you think you could help to grow that? Should you win, Mr. Trans USA?
I definitely want to make like the support system bigger. Um, I think eventually, not like right off the bat, obviously, but eventually as we grow, I think it would be cool to like do like a junior support. I mean, like a junior trans one for like the younger kids, get them like semi involved and not make it nationally, but like do it like in their state. So
Yeah,
like they have something to look forward to, or like something along the system to for the kids too. So, I know they have stuff for like regular like pageants and stuff like that for the kids, so why can't we do the same thing? I just think that would be a cool idea.
I'm actually all for that. I think that would be absolutely amazing to do, and just to like get really, because we are also like families can kind of, it's an all ages event, nationals. I mean, getting those kids to be there and see that, and wanting them to be able to do that, like when they grow up, like that's giving them that example and
Right,
in the space to do it. So I'd love to get everybody together after this year, and whatever the next person is, and to try to help you guys work on that.
right.
Um, because I think that, this is a really interesting, because we're talking about kids and everything, and the idea, since this, even though this is not a drag pageant, a lot of us have been entertainers, and the whole kids at drag shows thing we kind of talked about. Is there anything? Uh, I just briefly, is there any like drag bands going on in Missouri specifically? Anything like that?
Not sure. I don't think so. I haven't heard anything. Um,
Somebody's gonna have to fact check us in a second. Yeah, because
yeah,
there's so
I
many that I can't.
don't think so. Not that I know of. Because there's a group called Inclusion, and I haven't heard of them being banned yet. And they do Kansas City and Columbia, so um, but yeah, I haven't heard of anything. So
Well, it is cross band. It's one of those things that we never know what's going to be coming at people from either
exactly,
side, and it's we kind of talk about those kind of issues a lot, though. Issues that the next fight, the next project, and the next like goal we have as advocates, and it's not a bad thing to do. It's not a bad thing to always be focused, like kind of on that work, but at the same time, that burns you out, pretty quickly. So,
yeah.
two questions I have related to that. What kind of stuff do you do to relax when you're not kind of working on advocacy things?
I like to watch Harry Potter, or play Harry Potter video games. And then I'm really into like the diamond dots. Um, do you know what that is?
Yeah, like the rhinestone painting thing.
Yes, I
That should
like
help
to
you
do
out
that.
with some things.
I mean that is it takes a while. I had one that lasted me like 3 months.
As somebody who does kind of the same thing with costumes with the rhinestone, it can take months upon months, and then you kind of
Yeah,
know it for a little bit, and then you just kind of get sucked back into it.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then I get to see my kids about every other weekend, so I do that. Um, that's about it. And then we'll of course play with my dog.
And that's kind of another. I wanted to lead into that question because it's like we're normal people. We just do like normal people things. We like
Yeah,
arts, crafts, play with kids, dogs. It's. I think people have that idea, that we're big, scary, like these monsters online. But one of those misconceptions, and I'd have to ask before we lead back into that one, because my ADHD brain kind of like circles around, right? Um, what other kind of misconceptions do you think that people have about the trans community that might be fueling this kind of hatred right now?
I think they misconcept the fact that we want to be treated differently, or that we want attention, or that we want to be like this. And we we want this, and whether we don't want this for ourselves, it's not a choice. And I think they think that it's a choice. And I was like, if we had the choice to be born in the body that, it would be different. And I don't think they understand that part. And
Yeah, and getting that separation, like, the only choice we made is to stop like pretending.
correct.
um, and so yeah, I think those are pretty important, like big ones that kind of fuel a lot of these things people that people are saying right now. So kind of, I said I was going to circle back to a question, and this goes to show you that I am not in front of me. I have no idea what that was going to be. So we're just going to move to the next one that I've kind of got going on. That's okay. It just kind of shows, again, I'm human and I do kind of make little mistakes too. We all. So I've kind of like, oh no, dog barking. So this is kind of our last little question. I've kind of been wrapping up the last two with everyone. If there's something that you could tell folks, the other contestants competing right now, right before you even get to nationals, what would you kind of say to them?
That's a weird question.
Because we've all been kind of like circling around in the group, but we
Yeah.
haven't.
I mean, besides like good luck, I mean, I can't wait to meet everyone. Honestly, it sounds like we're gonna have a fun time at nationals. But I hope that we can stay connected after nationals. That it's
Yeah.
not just like it's a competition. Somebody's gonna win, but I don't look at it as really a competition. We're gonna go and we get to meet everyone. Hopefully, come out with like friendships and stuff like that. Yeah, we're across the states, but
And no, you've kind of actually got into the last question as well with that, which is really cool how that worked out. It was going to be me asking you about what you hope to get out of the experience for yourself, and I think that's kind of what we've all really wanted from this. Whether we've been doing this before, it's really that connection, that community, and I think that we've all, most people out there don't know this, but the group we have, everyone's posting all the things they're doing or just commenting back and forth. I think that it's just kind of a really cool group we have, and I know everyone's going to be just as excited to do the same thing.
yeah.
Now I got to like come up with another question to end. So I think that the last thing I think I'd want to say is, as we gear up and it's getting nicer and stuff out and Pride is coming up, do you have anything you'd kind of like to say to, the trans kids out there? I talked about families or the young trans people who may just be going to their first Pride out as trans. Like, is there anything you want to say to them as a last kind of word?
Have fun and don't listen to the idiots who just want to put you down. But make sure you do go with a responsible adult who has your best interest in mind, so you do stay safe. Because there are going to be idiots out there who just want to hurt you in more than ways than one. So make sure you go protected, but make sure you have fun. Obviously, have fun. That's
Yeah,
the
you
number
wanna
one
put
rule.
that dish in your mouth.
I am Mr. Trans Missouri. I am running because I think it's important to show the youth that they are not alone and that there are people who are just like them, and to give the youth a voice, to give them encouragement, everything that I personally didn't have growing up. So again, I'm Mr. Trans Missouri, and I hope you have a great day.
Yeah, you wanna put that dish in your mouth.